I was on Vince's plane, and Michael Cole sit right next to me, and
Oh.
he told me, "Do not go to sleep on this plane unless Vince goes to
Who's
sleep."
Hello again, everybody, and welcome to an all-new episode of the Wrestling Time Machine. I'm your host, Mac Davis, along with WWE Hall of Famer Mr. Teddy Long, and the man who lost his razor, I assume,
I did.
legendary
I haven't
pro
shaved
wrestling
in 2
journalist,
weeks.
Mr. Bill Apter. Hey, Bill. Hey,
Yeah, I
Teddy.
haven't shaved in 2 weeks. No
Well,
reason
look-
why.
Well, I just don't know what to say.
Bill, I think you got more hair on your face than you have on your head.
I do, but you said
Look who's talking.
Well, but I'm not.
you said I lost my razor.
talking?
I've got 2 words for you about losing my razor. You know what that is?
What is that?
Hey, yo.
You think you know all the wrestling stories? There's more you haven't heard yet. Join us on Backstage Pass.
Hey, guys, I know that everybody here has probably seen, because Teddy, I believe you sent me this on Twitter, maybe, or X, whatever it is. But at the recent Super Bowl, we saw Vince McMahon, The Undertaker, and Shane. And I got to tell you, the first time I've seen Vince in a long time, he looks a lot better shape than I had imagined he was looking. He looks in incredible shape. Teddy, were you impressed by the way he was looking? Because he looked like he's cut up.
Well, one thing about Vince, and I know this for a fact, he stays in the gym. Okay, I'll tell you a story about Vince. Maybe you guys don't even know, but sometimes at night after he would leave the TV, which means around midnight, 1 o'clock, he would fly his plane into the next town. And when they got into that town, it may have been 2 o'clock or 2:30 in the morning. Vince got right off of that plane, got where his trainer was already in the town, and made arrangements to get the gym open. So
Wow.
when Vince landed, he got off that plane at 2:30 in the morning, got with it, his trainer picked him up, and they went straight to the gym. That's where he went. The next morning, he would get up, he would go back to the hotel, he didn't sleep. Next morning, he would get up, be the first one at TV. And I remember one time at WrestleMania, I know I left him at the Hall of Fame, he was the last one there. This was 2 o'clock in the morning. We got out of there like real late one time. And the next morning, about 9 o'clock, we had to be back, and the first person I see is Vince. So I waited to see if he was in a good mood and everything. So he spoke to me, so that let me know he's in a good mood. And I asked him, I said, "Have you been to sleep?" And he said to me that sleep was his enemy.
Yep. Yeah.
You know,
I've heard him
the
say
thing that when you were backstage, did he take power naps or anything? Did you ever catch him just taking a real quick nap somewhere?
No.
I don't understand how a person can
He
run
never
on
slept.
zero sleep.
Michael
Never
Cole
slept
told
both
me one
times I
time
was with him.
I was on Vince's plane, and Michael Cole sit right next to me, and he told me, "Do not go to sleep on this plane unless Vince goes to sleep."
Wow.
One time they went overseas, and they went at Big Show, and Big Show went to sleep after they took this waterbed off the plane. They put it wherever they landed. They put it somewhere. Big Show got on the waterbed and went to sleep. Well, Vince came by, seen him, stuck a hole in it, let all the water out.
That's
I
great.
heard that story.
Look here, the other thing
How
I
could
noticed
you-
too is
Here's the
Go
whole
ahead, Bill.
thing. People are saying how great he looked,
Yeah.
but he's standing sideways with his eyes closed and just kind of walking. And he was wearing a shirt. I couldn't really see what he looked like.
He looked
I can
great.
tell you from experience in the gym, Bill, that and Teddy knows this too. He was wearing a pretty tight shirt for a man his age, and that shirt was cut. You could tell Vince is in great shape right now. Yeah, it was surprising because I was expecting to see that black pencil thin mustache and everything. No, he looked completely different than the last time we saw him, and I think that's probably on purpose as well.
He did not look like Snidely Whiplash.
Correct. Now, Shane, on the other hand, probably needs to visit the gym a little bit more than he is right now. But
I'm begging him to go to somebody's gym.
oh, please. I mean, he used to be in great shape. Well, he was never big, but he was always in shape. But he was looking a little round.
A few times every year, I would go up to the office and go to Mr. McMahon's office, open the door, and he's not there. Where is he? He's in the gym. At when they had the original Titan Towers building there, they had a gym in there, and he was in there day and night. He looked great. He was a monster the way
Yes.
he was built. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he always wanted to be a wrestler too, did he not? Isn't that something he has said before, that he always wanted to be a wrestler?
No, his dad tried to talk him out of that. His hero was Dr. Jerry Graham. That was his all-time hero. And he wanted to be like Jerry Graham, but I don't think he wanted to be a wrestler. I think he wanted to be what he turned out to be. But that could have changed years later because he kept showing up more and more inside the ring. And I'm not sure if it's just because he wanted to wrestle, but he wanted people to see that build of his.
Well, thank goodness that he did, because he became one of the best heels ever in the business in professional wrestling.
That's because that's what he is. He is a heel.
He was an amplified version of himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he turned out where a lot of the old school wrestlers would tell me that Vince is the best heel in the business when he started working, especially after the Montreal screw job. That turned him heel. And that whole era after that, with him at the helm of it, being Mr. McMahon, that heel, that was incredible.
Guys, this is the time machine, so I want to take you back 1 year and think back to the build of WrestleMania last year, the excitement, the rock, all the things that were happening that people were just tuning in for week after week. Do you have that feel this year like you had last year, Bill?
Great question. It somewhat, because they're not pushing toward WrestleMania as hard as they did last year. With the appearances of The Rock, they're taking more time to do it. I think that more of that excitement feeling will happen after the Elimination Chamber, when we know who, other than, Jey Uso declaring he's going after Gunther for the world title, we still have to see who's going to go against Cody. And I think that's going to build the momentum and the excitement to a fever pitch.
Teddy, do you feel like the excitement level at this point right now is not quite what it was last year?
Well, kinda, you know what I mean? But, you got to look at it now. They're doing great, and they don't have to do a whole lot. You know what I mean? They ain't got to do a whole lot. People are with it, okay? They're with what's going on. They're loving it. You found that out at the Royal Rumble. So Royal Rumble, which leads you right on into WrestleMania. So I don't think they have to do a whole lot. The people are with it. They're gonna come. They got something now that they want to see, and I think it's absolutely great.
People are jamming Las Vegas reservations at hotels and everything. Yet people are going for an entire week. It's from the 17th through the 21st, and people are. It's going to be all a pro wrestling city, and not just WWE. You've got WrestleCon there and a lot of other events. So it's going to be pretty. Yeah, the buzz is very strong, and I think The Rock will still somewhere during WrestleMania. I think we will find him involved.
Well, let me bring that up then. Right now, we know, as you mentioned, Bill, Jey Uso will be versing Gunther. At this point right now, that's the matchup for one of the main events at WrestleMania. We know Cody Rhodes has a title, but we don't know who his opponent may be. Now, people have been knocking around several names, including Cena, Randy Orton, and Seth are names that are even tossed into there. So those are your two possible main events with the players in there. Let me ask you, if we went back to what the fans really wanted after WrestleMania last year, and if the main events were Cody versus CM Punk and Rock versus Roman, do you have a higher fever pitch for this WrestleMania? Bill?
Here's what I think is going to transpire. People are talking about CM Punk against Roman against Seth Rollins in like a three-way, which would be very compelling. But think of the Elimination Chamber coming up now. You've got weeks ago, you saw CM Punk nose-to-nose with Cody Rhodes, and that was the match that people want to see at WrestleMania, as far as I'm concerned. But they can't ignore John Cena. But they also can't have Cody pinned. So if they do somehow out of the Elimination Chamber, and I don't know how, John Cena put himself in the Elimination Chamber. Perhaps if he doesn't win the Elimination Chamber and CM Punk wins it, John Cena also inserts himself into WrestleMania, and we get a three-way dance of CM Punk, Cody defending his title, and John Cena. And Cody doesn't have to lose. John Cena can win and get that title reign by pinning CM Punk. So this way you're saving Cody, but you're giving the fans the Punk match and the Cena match, both of them that they want to see. It's just a weird thought, but maybe
now,
Cena's
Teddy,
going to put himself into it.
let me ask you on a personal level, because I'll be honest, the thought of John Cena being in one of the two main events does not fly with me. I don't want to see John Cena in the main event. There are too many other combinations that, like we just went over a few minutes ago, that sound much better than John Cena in the main event. I don't mind John Cena being in the semi-main in a big match, but put him in the main event and I don't think anybody's going to give two flying flips whether he's in there or not, except for the young kids who want to buy his merchandise. Outside of that, I don't think a serious wrestling fan gives a crap. I really don't.
Well, I think because we're not seeing him on TV yet, I think that will be pumped up in the next few weeks from the Elimination Chamber onto WrestleMania.
Teddy, your thoughts on John Cena maybe being in the main event?
I don't even want to speak on it because the reason why, because we don't know what John Cena wants to do. You know, there's a rumor he's retiring. This supposed to have been his last match. So he's going through this phase. So how can you speak on something you don't really know what the guy's plans are? You don't know what he really wants to do. So I'm just going to wait and see what happens and see if he's really going to retire and leave wrestling, or if he's going to, win and continue, sign another deal and continue to work on it. So I'm just going to wait and see.
According to John Cena, when he's this is on some interview show, he may not wrestle, but he still wants to be around the business. And he'd be a good guy to be backstage at times, a couple of times a year, and just to be there, goodwill ambassador.
Let's talk about some of the WWE releases. Now, we got those, and we did not expect to get these releases. They kind of came out of nowhere on on a recent Friday night. And the names mentioned that have been released so far, as of today. Now, this is as a recording. We're recording on February 11th, so it may change quite a bit between now and the time you see this. But so far, guys, Duke Hudson has been released. Blair Davenport, Isla Dawn, I guess. Cedric Alexander, Giovanni Vinci, Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson, Paul Ellering, and the Authors of Pain, Elektra Lopez, Sonya Deville, and that's all I got right there. Some of those are a little bit surprising, but most of them, I don't even know who they are. Bill, your thoughts on hearing these releases?
Sonya Deville, I'm very surprised is being released. I'm surprised she's been there. She was also Adam Pearce's a right-hand lady. She's been in a lot of roles, so that's kind of surprising. Paul Ellering, I was begging my contacts at WWE to put him with the War Raiders. I think because Paul Ellering's the guy that brought the Road Warriors into even more fame because they worked so well together, and he's got a mouth on him that could take the War Raiders, even though they've got the tag team belts, that could take the War Raiders into another level. Cedric Alexander, unfortunately, he's a great guy and a great worker, but none of the companies he's worked for seem to put him where he belongs in a top flight role, and I don't know why.
Let me ask you, any surprises in the WWE releases, Teddy?
Well, not really. Like you say, some of those people there, I don't even know. I really wasn't surprised about Paul Ellering. He's a great guy. I think he, like Bill, I think he just didn't have the right guys. He didn't have the right team. Yeah. Paul Ellering is known, for his great work with the Road Warriors, but you got to realize this, this is a whole different time and era. And some of the people right now that are watching wrestling, they don't even know who the Road Warriors were.
Yeah, so, you're right.
So that's what you got to understand. And that's why I don't think Paul Ellering really got over with those guys, because people really didn't know who he really was. You know what I mean? So that didn't surprise me.